Russell Brand did nothing wrong sexually. What he did wrong was apologize for it because society doesn't like men and is out to get us and paint our sexuality as evil. Him apologizing for it is telling them that they're correct. Now, what he actually did was he engaged in sexual activity with willing teenage girls who are of the age of consent from his country. He did nothing wrong. Now, what we're going to focus on is how other people cover this. This guy in the corner is called Too Lazy to Try. Let's see what he has to say about this.
Is that in Europe and in the United Kingdom where I'm from, the age of consent is 16, and I did sleep with a 16-year-old.
There you go. So this guy did nothing wrong. Too Lazy to Try. I want you to listen to this. These teenage girls, they bypassed guys their own age to be with a man of wealth and fame. That's Russell Brand. That's what you call hypergamy. Their sexuality is the sexuality that's very disgusting, not ours. So he did nothing wrong.
When I was 30. But when I was 30, I was a very different person. I was a lot younger and I was an immature 30-year-old.
No, he wasn't immature. He wanted to bang a teenage girl. So does Too Lazy to Try. And whatever guy he was talking to, the same, right? Legally, he did nothing wrong. If he did Too Lazy, he'd be behind bars. He lives in a feminist shithole. If they had any real evidence against him, he would have been behind bars by now. Now, let's hear what you have to say.
All right, so Russell Brand has been doing a PR tour recently before his trial for sexual assault charges. I guess he wanted to address things and try to prove his innocence by admitting to having sex with a 16-year-old, which is an interesting move. I guess since it's legal in the UK, he thought he might as well admit it before it comes out during trial or something.
Or something. No, dude. This is the right way he should go about it, except for apologizing. He shouldn't. He should turn around and say, I didn't do anything wrong. My sexual activity is 100% legal and none of people's business. That's what he should have said. Again, by apologizing, he is actually damaging men's rights as human beings. What would you suggest he do? Too lazy to try.
Because I don't know why he'd want to admit this. Or like maybe he thought if he's honest
Because
about
it was legal. That's why. What's the point of him lying and then be caught out in a lie? Said, yeah, you did bang a 16-year-old, which is completely legal. She was completely willing. And every guy around him, all these guys around him would bang 16-year-olds as well. Every one of them, including you. Too lazy to try.
this, then people would believe he has nothing else to hide. I don't know, but I'd say if you get accused of rape by a bunch of different women and your response is to talk about how you're an immature, sex-addicted, famous 30-year-old that was sleeping.
He's not sex addicted. He just likes sex like the rest of us. And this is what I have to call out right here, Too Lazy. We know by now, through hashtag MeToo, that many women all telling the same lie is common. This old, well, so many women have said it, therefore it must be true, has turned out to be false. So why are you supporting falsehood?
With a high schooler, it's not looking too good. Like, these appearances he's making aren't doing him any favors, but he's also there.
What do you mean not looking too good? I'd be shouting it to the rooftops. Yeah, this young lady who was of age consent, who willingly banged me because she preferred me over the guys her own age, I'd be shouting that to the rooftops.
to promote a book titled How to Become a Christian in 7 Days. And I think he titled it that because that's how quickly he became a Christian after the allegations were made against him. Like now, everywhere he goes, he's carrying a Bible and wearing a cross, which obviously some people think is just a grift to try to pander to people who'd be more sympathetic or more forgiving.
I agree. He is a grifter. What can I say? I don't think he has anything of an acting career, so he's got to do something, right? To keep his income coming in, right? I agree, he is a grifter. But he is turning very right wing, isn't he? That's probably not a grift. He probably is a right winger at heart.
Towards him after the allegations were made. Like during Piers Morgan, he questioned Russell about the grifter accusations, and I don't think it could have gone any worse. Like all these appearances Russell's making just feel like comedy skits. I mean, you couldn't write something this funny.
Some would describe it as a grift. It's like, come on, Russell.
I don't give a shit about the grifting part because we're all here about his sexual allegations, right? Which are lies, right? Again, he would be behind bars if he actually did this. So let's get to you and see what you have to say.
But this is good enough.
So he really proved those grifter accusations wrong, and he was getting really frustrated with Piers because Piers kept asking him tough questions, and this interview was pretty contentious and got really awkward by the end. It seemed like Russell was on the verge of just snapping at Piers. Like everything Piers asked him, he took as an attack. But
Well, it is an attack, dude. He's being accused of something he didn't do. He didn't rape anybody, dude. Too lazy. Do you believe it? I notice you're pretty cowardly because I can tell where you stand, but you never come right out and say where you stand. I'm coming right out. I'm saying this guy did nothing wrong. I don't give a shit if he's a grifter, right? His only mistake is apologizing for something he didn't do.
Russell should have expected this. You know, this is how Piers' show is. And Russell started talking shit about it at one point for being too much of a spectacle. And then Piers is like, well, why'd you want to come on here then? But Russell probably thought since him and Piers have known each other for a while, he'd go easy on him. And also the other shows Russell did were friendly interviews, like Tucker.
There, you see, he is turning right wing, dude. He's cozying up to wealthy people, or people of notoriety anyway, on the right. So that's his new spiel, yeah.
Carlson, Megyn Kelly, and Candace Owens, they're all helping him do damage control, and they're going with the narrative that Russell's just under attack for speaking out against the COVID vaccine in the mainstream media. But Piers is like, you know, a lot of people would think that's a bullshit excuse.
This sense that you were somehow...
Piers is scum. Because he would throw his grandmother under the bus. You think he has any kind of principles whatsoever? Again, get past this. I don't care what he has to say. I care about what you say. So let's get past all the nonsense. Past it. Oh my God, you actually let this go that far?
Don't mean to be mean.
So it was a wild interview. I'm surprised Russell agreed to go on there, but he must have just not.
Well, not me. He was stupid enough to apologize for something that he didn't do wrong. He is a stupid man.
Known what it was going to be like. And the other shows he did were much friendlier, like Tucker Carlson. He did a puff piece for him. And Megyn Kelly, too, which was really strange for her because when the allegations first came out, she was totally against Russell. She was leaning more towards believing the alleged victims. And
she never believed them then, dude. And neither should you. Because we know what hashtag MeToo is about. It's happened too often to too many men. We know that women do lie en masse about men. So Megyn Kelly, she represents the average woman. The average woman knows this is a lie. And they jump on board to attack men because that's the hostility women have for men. But they make an exception if they think they can get something from the man. Megyn Kelly just sees, hey, I can buddy up with this man of high status and get something from him. Either way, it's a lie. Either way, she's a liar. Because she was truthful, she would say, "Hey, I don't I don't know anything about Russell Brand himself personally, but I know that this is going on, that men are being lied about." She would know that he didn't do anything wrong.
She said she was done with him if he had sex with a 16-year-old, which looking back on is crazy because then Russell ended up going on her podcast and admitting that on her show, and she didn't even care. So I don't know what happened.
Yeah, there you go. You know what happened. Right. Right. See? So again, who is she to claim that he shouldn't have sex with a teenage girl who is of age? Who is she to say what men's sexuality should be? She should look at her gender and say, "Hey, we should get over our hypergamy. We shouldn't go after old men with money." Too lazy. Who are anyone to crap on male sexuality, considering the way female sexuality is? Completely shallow and just pathetic.
Happened here. I mean, she was like really passionate about it too. She'd get fired up, but now, of course, she's like, well, I didn't understand the full picture. Now that I've looked into it more, I realize a lot of it's BS, and Russell's just being targeted because.
Well, she knew it was BS from the start. She was just part of the lynch mob. Too lazy. Now she has something to gain from Brand, so she's no longer part of the lynch mob. That doesn't mean she has any principles, so she's a good person, or she's on the side of right.
He was outspoken about the COVID vaccine. So this lady is all over the place. Like now she says she didn't look into the details enough. But when it first came out, originally, she said the people that were defending him didn't look into the details enough. So I don't know how anyone could take her seriously.
Look, there are no details. Someone accused him. They either have the evidence for it or they don't. What details do you need beyond that? He's still free because obviously this young woman or these young women don't have any real proof.
And she said if he slept with a 16-year-old, it doesn't matter if it's legal where he was, she's done with him. But I guess now she thinks it's not a big deal and people only care because Russell's outspoken about how COVID was handled.
My limbs are trapped underneath him, and I just thought, why are you doing this?
No, dude. No one gives a shit about COVID. Like I said, she just buddied up to him. She said, "I can still get some use and moolah out of this guy." She's no different than the teenage girls who banged him. The teenage girls who didn't want to bother with all the teenage boys who wanted to be with them.
It can't even be any sexual gratification in this. And then he held my mouth shut and made me swallow it. So I was just gagging and crying. Can I just tell you guys, I realize that the knee-jerk instinct now by so many is Russell Brand is wrongly accused. These women are all liars. I'm sorry, this is extremely detailed. And in the case of the other woman...
So her lies are really detailed. So what? Nice story, bro. Where's the evidence? Too lazy. I could make a story up about you and make it really detailed. I guess the police should come arrest you at my word because I made up a detailed story.
There's an actual set of medical records after she went to a crisis center the day of the alleged encounter, plus apologetic, begging for forgiveness text from Russell Brand. Could you please, for a second, stay open-minded to the...
No. That happens with guys all the time. They have consensual sex with a girl. They think everything's all right. Then she starts lying or crying, or both. And so then they start apologizing like idiots, thinking, look, I just want to smooth things over. I thought things went really well. They have no idea they're feeding the beast.
possibility that the women are telling the truth. We don't need to so overcorrect from the MeToo movement that every woman gets completely disregarded and called a liar when she finds the guts to come
All she has to do is provide evidence. Megan, where is it?
forward and make an allegation. They may be telling the truth. I'm just pissed because what I've seen is like a rash of guys coming out to be like,
I don't believe any of that shit whatsoever. You really think Russell Brand, when he was at his peak and had girls throwing themselves at, actually had to commit sexual assault? Bullshit. Too lazy.
it's bullshit. You don't know whether it's bullshit or not. Did you read the report of this woman? Did you read the alleged rape details? Did you read the text message that she has from Russell Brand begging for
Nice story, bro. Again.
forgiveness? And then the more I looked at it, the more I started to recognize I might not know the full story, because since then I have seen what the British government has done to certain figures that it doesn't like. And
Well, see, this is it right here, too lazy. It's a men in general, low status men, like you, she would be fine with you being lied about and being lynched. But high status men, she likes. So leave them alone. Go after guys like you.
And I have an enormous amount of open-mindedness to you are being railroaded and attacked by people for reasons having nothing to do with actual facts, but with your right-leaning stance on certain issues.
So what she's saying here is like, when women tell lies, we should just believe them. But these other people, if it's gender neutral, they must be liars.
I'm done. If he had sex with a 16-year-old when he was 31, I'm done. I'm not his fan. I'm perfectly...
Shut up. Who gives a shit about your opinion? He didn't do anything wrong. He didn't do anything illegal. It's better not to have you in my life. That would be my attitude. Megan Kelly or whatever your name is, go screw yourself.
Comfortable condemning that full force. If he admits to just that alone, it's over. And I don't care how many sponsors he loses.
And the plain fact of it is
why would he lose any sponsors? We know that he would, but he doesn't deserve it. He hasn't done anything wrong. The only reason lose was his sponsors would dump him is because they themselves hate male sexuality. That's your sexuality, too lazy.
that in Europe and in the United Kingdom where I'm from, the age of consent is 16, and I did sleep with a 16-year-old.
And the
Again, he didn't do anything wrong.
craziest part is Megan still seems to think Russell's going to be found guilty and convicted, but not because he actually did anything wrong, but because it's God's plan for him.
Okay, but I actually have a worry that they'll send you because maybe, what if it is part of your path? What if you're supposed to be like ministering to men in jail? Or
You tend to be focusing on these individuals. They don't matter. They represent something far greater than themselves. That is an attack on male sexuality and freedom, which is an attack on mine and yours.
changing the lives of the least fortunate among us, and this is part of God's plan for you.
Well, if it's God's plan, then there's no point resisting it, is there? If it's God's plan, then off I go, and I will serve.
Do you think that Megan Kelly is a big churchgoer? I notice you're not saying anything about that, too lazy. You haven't used the term grifter for her yet. Why not?
Him there. If that's God's plan, I don't like that idea much because I'd much rather be with my little children
How old are
and
they?
my wife.
Predicting. I'm not predicting a guilty.
I don't predict it.
I'm worried as I'm looking at the cross on the cover of the book.
I don't give a shit about this. What are you going to say about this?
We'll see what God's plan is. Let me know what you guys think about it all down in the comments, and make sure you check out the Patreon. I recently
Well, dude, this is what I think. I think you probably support these lies. And that makes me feel contempt for you. I mean, I know you kind of like to have this neutral stance, like you don't care one way or the other. Isn't this all crazy? And look at these crazy individuals. So you ignore what this actually means for all of us as men. What's going on with Russell Brand affects you. You're not just some neutral observer. If his if his rights get stripped away, then so does yours and so does mine. What goes on in the United Kingdom, it affects the other Western countries. It affects me here in Canada. It affects you, I suspect you're a Yankee, in the United States. It affects us. Misandric laws are being passed. Now, do you want to be a second-class citizen or even a citizen or not? Make up your mind.